Okay, so this is how we're going to learn radial symmetry. Radial symmetry means that the left and the right of the composition is the exact same, but the top and bottom is also the exact same. So you kind of have like these little 4 squares, and they all flip and it mirrors each other as it goes around. What you're going to do is sketch out a design on a piece of paper. If you want to fold it like I did, you can. I folded it in half, folded it in half this way, and then I folded it on each diagonal. So I folded it as a diagonal here and as a diagonal here. So I have an X and a plus sign fold. That just kind of helped me guide out where the center is and make sure that each side is the same. But that's not necessary. This is just a rough sketch. What you're going to be doing is creating a sculpture out of construction paper using lines. So all of this is focused on just lines. What is the edge of a line going to look like? You can make shapes out of construction paper also. So like I have some triangles in here, creating my shape. And overall it creates a shape. I want you to just think about the line, create a radial design. And then once you have that, you can pick out your construction paper colors you want to use and cut them down to the size that you need. So here's what I have so far. I have some black pieces cut, light blue, dark blue, and pink. I'm not quite sure on my little swirls in my triangle what color I want to use yet, but I do have this part cut out and then my little zigzag and spirals cut out. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get started with gluing them together. I'm going to start with my center oval or circle here. So I'm going to fold, curl my paper, have it overlap. I'm going to use my glue stick, if I can get that open. Oh goodness. There we go. My glue stick was very stuck. So I'm going to put some glue on here. And this will be a little bit time consuming, learning some patience. Okay. And I'm going to overlap my paper, curl it around. And then you just have to hold it until it dries, right? Because if it's wet, then it's going to come off and you're going to have to keep redoing it. So you want to hold it until it dries, until it's dry enough that you can let go of it and it's staying in place. I added in a crease right there accidentally. I didn't want to do that, so I'm going to try to uncrease that by adding in a little bit more around that area. See this part of my piece of paper, it's coming up. I don't have enough glue underneath there. So what I'm gonna do is come back in and add in some more glue right underneath that. Hold that little spot down. Okay, clean off this little edge. That way it doesn't stick to other things that I don't want it to stick to. Right, don't want to tear somebody else's or tear something up in your backpack because there's wet glue on it. Okay, so this is like my little center circle piece. It's not a perfect circle or a perfect oval. That's okay. It doesn't have to be, okay? And then next I'm gonna do my little dark blue petals. So for that, I have my pieces cut. And what it's gonna look like is I'm gonna glue on here and then come up, create a crease, and then move this around the other side and glue it there as well. So curve this piece in a little bit, right? So I get that little spiral right here. I want to curl it in. Same on this side. I want to curl that in. Then I'm going to put some glue on each edge. Over here on this edge where it's going to stick to my pink circle. Okay, so now I'm going to hold those pieces onto my circle. There you go. And then for my sketch I have a point, right? And this doesn't have a point yet. So what I need to do is add in that crease right at the top. And then I have my point. See? Ta-da! And if I want these to curl in more, I just gotta kind of use my fingers. Curl this in a little bit more here. There we go. So it looks something like that. I think I'll just cut this little extra strand off that wasn't cut very neatly. So that's part of your craftsmanship here. You want to try to cut real neatly. You want your glue to be clean. I don't want to see a ton of glue sticking out. I'm going to continue my little blue pieces. I'm going to go around, and then I'll show you kind of how I add in my next stuff. Okay, so I have my dark blue areas in, my little petals. Now I'm going to add in my black zigzags. So what I'm going to do is just start folding up my black strips of paper like an accordion. Just folding it back and forth first. So there's my black zigzag now, and I'm just going to stick that in here in between the blue pieces, and I'm going to glue that in here. Now its stick comes up a little bit, so I could line it up evenly, or I can also kind of scoot it down so it's kind of more flesh with my dark purple. And then if I look on this side, I could cut off some extra if I wanted to. Either way, you just kind of want to center it, right? You want it to have that radial symmetry. So whatever you do in one area, you got to do to the other area. So I'm going to glue that in right there, and then I'm going to add my little black zigzag to all my other corners. I have all my black zigzags in here. Next I'm going to do my little pink spirals. So I was going to put a spiral kind of inside of some of these little zigzag areas. So what I'm going to do with my pink paper is just curl it up as tight as I can. This paper is a little stiff, so I got to crease it. It's a little stiffer than some of the other construction paper, so it's not as easy to curl and curve. I want a small spiral, so I'm just going to roll up my paper like so, and then I'm going to let it go and kind of open it up as much as I want to create my spiral. And then I'm going to decide where inside the black I want, within my black zigzag, it's kind of long, where I want to put these pink spirals. So I have 8 of them. I'm going to have 2 on each black spiral, or black zigzag. I'll have 2 pink spirals. So I just got to decide where I want them, and I'm just going to put some glue on the edge and kind of stick it right into the little corners. Okay, so next I got my little pink spirals in here. Next I'm going to do my little light blue, my little arches right here. Now when I try to twist my paper, I realize it doesn't twist quite the way I drew it, so I just have to modify and adjust and kind of change my plan as I go, right? So I'm going to twist my paper like this so I have a little loop, and I'm going to glue it onto the black zigzags, and that's going to help my zigzags kind of stay in place also. So I'm going to do that for each side of my little flower here that I'm making. So I finished my little radial sculpture here. I'm going to hold it up. I'll hold it up from the back so my arm's not blocking the view of it. There you go, you can see it. So I did change my design from my sketch. I did not add my triangles onto the outside. Instead, I added more to the inside here. So I added in some yellow zigzags and some black zigzags. So I started adding more into the inside. You know, as you get too far out, if you don't have enough structure in the center, it's just harder to hold up. So if you add in a lot of stuff down here, you need to also add in a lot of stuff in the center. But yeah, that is what we are doing to get that radial design. Again, it's not perfect. It is a sculpture. It's paper. It's kind of flimsy. But it gives you that idea that the left and right's the exact same, and the top and bottom is the exact same. So you have that little crisscross, and those 4 quadrants all mirror each other, and that is radial symmetry.